I don't care what anybody
No, you're the
thinks.
OG, bro. For sure.
I am
the GOAT.
Davey
Yep.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yes.
The fourth Lawrence. There's Joey.
Right.
There's Maddie. There's Andy, and there's Davey.
Dave.
I'm the oldest Lawrence. A little bit less good looking.
No,
Lawrence.
it's not true.
please.
Not true.
The less talented.
No,
Lawrence.
not true.
That
You're just
they
behind
don't.
the scenes,
yeah, they
man.
don't love to like bring me out into the public a lot.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to the Brotherly Love Pod.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
Pod to Pod. We're in the
Pod to
house.
Pod.
The Pod to Pod. We're in the house. And we hope you are rolling into this weekend with positivity and as much happiness as possible. Carve out some. Find those times to be grateful. Man, it's hard sometimes, but you got to keep repositioning yourself. And all is beautiful, especially here, because it's always great when I get to see my very best bud of 30-something plus years. And we have a one-on-one episode with the epic, the one and only, my best pal, amazing screenwriter, dad, husband, brother, son, you name it.
Oh my
David
God.
Wagner is in the house, everybody.
Wags, baby.
What's up, bud?
that
Good to
is-
have you, buddy.
Hey, bud, I love you guys. Thank
Love
you.
you
for
too,
having me.
man.
No,
You-
this is funny because when I got the call from Joe
Oh, gosh.
saying that I was going to be
Remember,
on
we
it.
can edit anything out that I edit that I want to.
No,
so
no,
just-
no.
I'm
It
kidding.
was
Go, go.
it was like, one of my first jobs was a writer's intern for the Tonight Show
That's
with
right.
Jay Leno.
That's
Oh,
right.
really?
And when, yeah. And
What?
when dude, it was a trip.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I love Leno.
He was great. I barely saw him, but he was great.
Yeah.
But when a big guest, like a big star, dropped out at the last second, they scrambled. They're like, "Get Carrot Top on the phone now!
Oh, God.
Get
Yeah,
his
that-
ass
no
in
way.
here!"
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I'm the Carrot Top. Like somebody must have canceled.
Yeah.
Somebody must have
He knew.
canceled.
You
right?
told him.
Yeah.
No, so
Nobody
you told him.
canceled.
I
Nobody
totally knew it. I
canceled.
knew it. Who was? You know what would have been funny?
No, nobody
If
He
canceled.
wants
Carrot
to
Top
know.
was scheduled to be on the podcast, and then get Wagner on the phone now.
Oh my God.
No, but I truly am. I'm grateful to be here. I love you guys.
That's funny.
Even if this is just gonna be on the cutting room floor, it's just a fantastic.
It's a backup. It's
Yeah,
a backup
it's
episode.
a great.
It's actually just for us, Dave.
I just love that. I just love hanging out with you
episode.
guys, man. I just love.
We always got to have a couple in the tank. God forbid something
backup.
happened and we need something to air. So we decided, no, dude,
I'm
this
happy
is
to be your backup.
This is a real episode, and everybody's going to hear it and
Dave has
judge
been
it.
a
Trust me.
staple
He has.
in our lives, in my life, forever.
You know, we've always talked and joked about like the fourth Lawrence, right?
Yes.
Nicky was
right.
on he was the fourth Lawrence, and
I am
I
the
want to be the
fourth
fourth Lawrence. Dave actually is
Yeah.
the
I am
fourth
the-
Lawrence.
Coin the fourth Lawrence,
Unequivocally,
for
I am.
sure.
I don't care what anybody
No, you're the OG,
thinks.
bro. For
I
sure.
am
The GOAT.
Davey
Yep.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yes.
The fourth
Yeah.
Lawrence. There's Joey.
Right.
There's Maddie. There's Andy, and there's Davey.
Dave.
I'm the oldest Lawrence. A little bit less good looking.
No,
Lawrence.
it's not
No,
true.
please.
Not
The
true.
less talented.
No,
Lawrence.
not
No.
true.
You're
That
just behind
don't,
the scenes,
Yeah, they
man.
don't love to like bring me out into the public a lot. No, but this was the backstory that we created.
Yeah,
when
you
got
gotta
to
explain this.
Dave and I,
You gotta
when we
explain
in our
this.
younger years, we would go out,
Yes, of
and
course.
because we did look similar, and he looks like he's related to us.
Yes.
You know, back in the heyday, they believe anything. There was no social media, so you could believe anything. And Dave often took on the personality of the fourth Lawrence. He was the
Lawrence,
oldest brother. That just
And
he
you'd
didn't
be
wanna
like,
do-
you'd go up to the girls, and be like, yeah, they don't like to take me out too much.
Yeah.
And all the girls be like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
we
They were-
love you, Dave.
oh,
Yeah.
he got so much feel good. He got all of the sympathy.
He used it. He milked it, baby.
Oh,
No, but
oh.
we people
It was
would come up
great.
and ask for. I mean, it would be very blessed. But people asked for pictures and stuff, and then Dave would just get in them, right? He
Yes.
would just
Oh,
be
yeah.
brought into the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
all the time.
But I'm cut out like the Jerry Maguire.
No.
I'm like a little piece of me is in there. Like the fourth Lawrence just doesn't quite make it.
It's just the arm.
I didn't get
Some
cast
one
in
arm.
any of the Disney movies.
Oh, God.
Or they didn't put me in any of the things. No
It's so funny.
brotherly love. I couldn't get in there.
Well, the network just wanted three.
The network just wanted
Three is the magic
three.
number, really. So
Comedy always happens in threes, David. It's just
I should know that.
and
But
it's
yeah,
a demo thing. It's
Yeah.
only a demo thing. You're slightly out of the demo. Can you imagine? No.
I'm proud to be the fourth Lawrence.
He was either
Davey
that.
Lawrence.
He was either the fourth Lawrence or he was our cousin.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
From New York.
From New York, from Chesterfield. Hey, yeah.
And let me just tell you something.
Chester what? What
Who?
was it?
No, West Nyack.
Oh, West Nyack.
Yeah, yeah. Or
Oh my God.
Westchester.
I remember.
Westchester.
I haven't heard this
Westchester.
band.
Westchester.
Westchester.
I haven't heard this in a
And
while.
he
I'm
would-
Davey from Westchester.
When I tell you he would do it, I mean, he was in. He was like deep undercover.
Yeah.
He was so undercover. You were like, "Where's Dave?" He's gone. He was he was the cousin from Westchester. He all night. I mean, that's
It was so
we
much
say in
fun.
my town, we do a little of this, we do a little. I mean,
So much
all
fun.
night, and he would be the life of the party. Everyone would be laughing at him because of his personality. Oh, they don't make people like you. He's like, that's what you got to do. He's from New York. I mean. You've never seen anything like it. It was the greatest acting performance ever.
Awesome.
Thank
ever.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you.
pretty amazing. It was really great.
Man.
We had
a lot of
great
history.
times.
A lot of history, man.
Dude, I mean, literally.
Since 95, I think.
95,
Yeah, man.
95.
That was crazy.
95.
The backstory. You want how we met? You want to know how
we
we met?
in the gym.
In the gym, but why? Because
Steve Real.
Yes. So, and here's this is good. 'Cause
This
we
is the
could
full
talk-
circle,
We
'cause
could talk
Steve
about
Real
me
was
now.
on the
We could talk
pod.
about me. So I was on.
Full circle.
I was
Talk
on.
about me.
I was on a show called Junior Star Search. It was sort of like a talent, like American Idol for back in the day in the
Yeah.
80s.
I remember
was,
Star Search.
Yeah, I was the 1984 male vocalist champion, and I won. And they invited me to come to the 1985 version.
Like the Oscars when you win the year
Right.
before.
Yeah.
So I got to go backstage, and I met the male vocalist challenger, who was Stevie Real.
Oh,
Yes.
Wow.
So I got to meet
Wow.
Stevie. I got to meet his family. We bonded. We hung out as families for many years before I
Now-
even met Joe.
Isn't that wild? This is
And-
85, a
Yeah.
decade before you
And
met
then-
me.
And then I walked into the gym and I saw you with Stevie.
I was
working
trying to get
out.
Steve in shape. I was trying to
Yeah.
train him. Yeah.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
that's how I met
What?
Joe at Bally's in Encino.
That is
And Steve vouched for
Crazy.
Dave and
He
said,
vouched
"This
for
is a
me.
great guy."
Yeah.
Oh, and then they bonded because they hadn't seen each other in a bit, little few years, whatever
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
And so we all started hanging out, and then Dave and
is
I became best pals.
Wow.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That
Shout out
is-
to Stevie Real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He
Wow, that
watches
is
every week.
Junior Star Search.
He watches every week.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's so wild.
It's crazy, and I won, and he lost, and he had a
No
he had-
way.
Yes, he had
No
a
way.
career.
He did
Obviously,
not win.
as you know, he's
Wait a minute. He's got one of the best male voices
Ever.
ever.
Just
He's
goes to show you,
absolutely
yes.
incredible.
No way.
Yeah, and well, dude, on my show, the one I was on, Tiffany. Remember Tiffany, the singer?
Oh, yeah.
She
I
lost.
think we're alone now.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be anyone around.
That's her.
Yeah.
She lost.
She lost. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty
Yeah,
crazy. And
yeah.
I won. I ended
Marvin
up not
Gaye
having
lost.
lost.
I mean, this show is a disaster. Nobody could won.
It's crazy.
No, but it was amazing.
Yeah,
But
and I
Dave
never
won.
I won, and yeah,
Yeah.
that was. I've been in the business not as long as you guys, but I have been in the business
A
since
long
I was
time,
10
man.
years old. So yeah,
He was in a
Pretty
cult.
crazy.
He was in a cult classic
Yeah.
movie called
That
Thrashing.
Alan
skateboard
Sachs.
movie. Alan
Yeah.
Sachs, that's
Yeah.
right.
Produced, who I
Josh
worked
Brolin.
with. Yeah, many years
Josh
later.
Brolin.
Yeah, wow.
Josh Brolin was in that
What?
one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thrashing, right?
This is crazy.
Thrashing. It was a very popular like
Didn't we
cult
go to see?
classic.
Didn't we see a screening of that
I played
together?
Lil Stevie.
Or did you
yes,
not? Didn't,
yes,
weren't we
there
there
was like
together?
a big anniversary of it.
We were. That was a wild. That was.
and
yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah. So
And
I-
Alan Sachs produced that. Alan Sachs went on and produced Andy's
The
decom.
Other Me.
The Other Me, one
Yeah.
of
Wow.
Andy's
And
very,
he
yeah.
also did Camp Rock and
Well, yeah, a
Smart
lot of
House, a
decom
bunch of
movies.
big
Yeah.
decoms. Yeah.
Mm.
yeah.
And
But-
he created Welcome Back, Kotter
yes.
with
Yes.
Travolta. Yeah.
Mm.
Not
Alan
amazing.
Sachs.
crazy.
Crazy, right?
Synergy.
a
which
lot of-
is- wow.
And it's yeah, we didn't. It's weird because we've been in the same circles for
Right,
years
but-
as a kid. When I was an intern at the Tonight Show, I remember seeing you outside by the security guard looking at Leno's cars that
Oh, yeah, you
were
would always
parked
park.
outside the stage.
Yeah.
Well, I was, but we never met.
That's weird.
yeah, and
that's
I
weird.
auditioned. I remember I auditioned for Blossom.
Did you?
Yeah, obviously I didn't get it.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
What?
Yeah,
crazy is
yeah.
that?
You were the guy that booked all the jobs that I auditioned for back
Well,
in the day.
oh wow, that's
You're you were the
No
Steven
way,
Dorff
Yeah.
of my
No
life.
way.
Yeah.
dude.
No, he
way.
says that because we have a joke that
Yeah.
that Steven Dorff, okay, on Blossom, Mayim Bialik, who played Blossom, would have this carousel of boyfriends, okay?
Right, right.
Every week, a
Yeah.
new boyfriend, right?
Right.
And they would basically go out and pluck like these young sort of like up and coming actors. So it was James Marsden. It was all of them. I mean, every single guy you could imagine was on the show. And one of them was Steven Dorff, who was an up and coming actor. Anyway, there were like 3 movie parts in the late 80s, early 90s that it was down to me and Steven Dorff, and he got every single one. Okay. One of the
What
ones
did he say? What did he say?
one of them was called The Power of One, which is this boxing movie, and I really wanted it. Anyway, so he comes on now. He comes on to Blossom
on your show.
my show, and at this point, my character had exploded, so it was like 94, and I was very successful. And he comes on to my show, first day on set, And he's like, hey man, and I was being nice and gracious, welcoming into the home field advantage. I was like, hey man, it's so great. I'd seen him out, and whatever. He had his wins. I was having my win, and I was like, Steve, man, I'm so glad you're doing the show. Welcome. He's like, hey man, it's good to see you. Have in front of everybody, by the way. Have you gone out for anything lately that I booked?
Baller.
And I was like,
that is a baller.
I was like,
that is.
he didn't just laugh.
What?
No smile, nothing.
That's so Dorf.
And I was like,
That's so Dorf.
I was like, Dorf is a total dick.
what?
No, I used
And
to
ever
sing-
since
dude,
no way.
You know how like your eyes harden?
Yeah.
And I just hatred instantly developed. And
No,
I was
dude,
like, I'm going to
it's-
hate this
it's
guy
funny.
forever. And anyway,
I
yeah.
actually know Dorf from singing at a show called the LA Cabaret every Sunday. I used to sing at a show called the LA Cabaret, and I was sort of the Joey Lawrence and blah. I was like the king of the campus on that. I sang and I had a fan club. I actually had a
Was it
fan.
Hollywood?
There were like 5 girls in my fan club, but I had a fan club. They used to come to the show every Sunday and wear like "I love David Wagner" T-shirt. I swear to God, this is. I'm not shitting you. This is the truth.
Who else was in that?
But Dorf came onto the show and he's like, man, I want a fan club like you, David. So he was
Oh, my
just
goodness.
starting out. He was
Wow.
like 12 years old.
Is this unbelievable?
A lot of people were on did that show. Yeah,
Yes.
Stephen Dorff, the Martika. I used to perform with Martika. Remember Marta Morero? She was.
By the way,
she was
Martika, Crazy 6 Degrees Separation.
Yeah.
Steve Rial, that was one of his first solo students. Was Martika.
Wow.
Taught her how to sing properly. 'cause
Super
that's what Steve does.
talented.
Amazing.
Super talented.
Very
yeah.
self-destructive, unfortunately, but she was a very talented,
yeah,
very,
shoot.
very talented.
Crazy.
Okay. Shout
Yeah.
out to Martika.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So there is a crazy 6 degrees right of separation from the business.
It kind of reminds me of that story that Joaquin Phoenix told. One of the award shows where he was like,
Oh,
I
yeah?
was starting out and we'd go to all these auditions and we'd all be all nervous. And then this guy, Leo, would walk in and everyone was like,
gosh.
Leo
Oh.
DiCaprio. And he'd book every role. And if we saw Leonardo
Yeah.
DiCaprio there, we were like, we would just leave.
No one's getting this part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I
So
know.
funny.
Yeah, no,
Everybody's
it's-
got their.
and
everyone's
yet,
got their
and
little nemesis.
it took until us in our almost you're 21 almost for
Almost,
us to
yeah.
meet, and even more like
I was 19.
I used to go to like remember Alfie's Soda Pop Club. Like, there was this Alfie's Soda Pop
Matt
Club.
doesn't remember, but I
Okay,
do.
yeah, and I know that you used to go to that, and I used to go to that, but I don't remember ever seeing you there. I
Nope.
used to go there just to wait for Alyssa Milano to show up
That was his. That was
because I had such a crush on Alyssa Milano. Shout out to Alyssa.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
He did.
it was a really cool, like all of the like Hollywood kids are going there to party, and
There was no
Andre Gower,
Andre
and
Gower,
we had
Ryan
one of those.
Lamb, all the guys from the
We had one of those.
Monster Squad.
It was whatchamacallit, what's his face? Jason Bateman. I mean, all the guys.
Mine,
all
mine
these
was
people.
Club 17, and that meant for kids like 17
in the
And under.
business.
in the business, 17 and under.
Yeah.
Mm,
And then it became
wow.
Deviate,
DVA.
Ooh.
which was like a little bit. It was so terrible, cringy.
Wow.
Oh God, it was
Yeah.
so bad. But we would, and then we would drink in the back.
And I
Wow.
never did.
I never drank at those
yeah,
parties ever. It was sponsored by New York Seltzer,
It was. We had New York seltzers.
and we had tons
the
of New York
raspberry
Seltzers.
New York seltzers.
Yeah, dude, the
What's a-
raspberry, they were amazing. New York Seltzers.
Well,
The
that's another
raspberry
reason why I
seltzers?
think that we've become friends over the
Yeah.
years, because just the way we were brought up, man.
Yep.
Just
Family,
never really,
never
no
did
drugs
drugs,
or
no
really drink too
no,
much. And,
no.
I mean, I'm not
No,
perfect.
we
but
drank, but we waited.
dabbled and
Honestly, we
stuff.
did it later.
They
Like
are
we
a
did
lot
it
alike.
later.
Yeah.
We did it later.
Yeah, well, I think we had
They're-
really strong parents, man.
We did.
We had
Right.
really strong parents. I mean,
We'd
strong
be
ones.
out, and look, Dave's a very good-looking guy, and there was a lot of fame that was surrounding me at the time, stuff, right? So we would go out, and it would be a scene, right? And that's just the way it was at this time.
Good times.
However, it was so cool because in the middle of it, if you could imagine, like there would be times we were in Vegas, and we'd go with our guy friends in Vegas.
Yeah.
Mm.
Vegas
And
trips.
it'd start off with just the four of us, the four guys, and by the end of the night, somehow I had commandeered some massive limousine for us, and we were in there with
Yes.
like 15 other people.
I know where you're going with this.
And we were singing Backstreet Boys
Yes.
songs at the top of our lungs.
Want it that way. Yeah.
Tell me why.
Oh,
Down the strip
so
with all the
great.
windows open, and we were just, we would last
Yeah.
till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Some of the greatest,
Wow.
honestly, they were such wholesome, unbelievable nights, actually.
Yeah.
But they were filled with laughing and
Yeah,
flirting
man.
and
Yeah,
just
man.
enjoying life, like in its
Great
purest
time.
form. Really, the greatest times. And it was just like
The
those.
Sky Bar at the Mondrian
Oh my
Hotel,
gosh, those
hanging out there.
memories.
Wow.
But those memories
Yeah,
were
Vegas
just,
trips were great. But
just
honestly,
just incredible.
the thing of it is, and
But in the middle of it, hold on. In the middle of it,
yeah,
our phones would ring. Okay, in the middle of, and we
Yeah.
were never too cool to take a call from our mom.
Yeah.
Of course.
Ever. So you're
Totally.
talking about there was no.
So
I
true.
loved him because he was like me, and there was no ego about it. You would like, because most guys with all the women around and stuff, you'd be like, oh my god, yeah, just some of my boys, just give me a call. No, in the middle of it all, he'd be like, oh, it's my mom. Can you hold on a minute? Hey, mom, what's going on? I
Yeah.
swear to God, we're
Yeah.
fine.
It's true.
You know, there
I'm
was
gonna
no
catch so
locate.
much shit from
There
my
was-
friends now.
there was no-
after you tell this.
There
story,
was
but-
no, hey man, it's all good.
Yeah.
There was no, My Life 360 or I Find My iPhone, none of that
Yeah.
shit. So
Right.
she'd be like, "Are you safe?" You're like, "Yep, on the Sunset Strip, we're doing good." You know what I mean? Or yep, we're in Vegas, we're good.
Yep.
And it was just like, never was there an ego about that.
Yeah.
I loved him for that because obviously family was so important to me. And if I got a call from either one of you guys or mom or dad or anybody,
Yep.
I always took it.
Yep.
And he always made me feel, and he was the only friend, which is why he became my best friend, that literally never made me feel bad for taking a call. As a matter of fact, we'd be in the middle of an amazing moment where like, oh my gosh, like these two girls we've been talking to, and now's our time to go up and actually have a moment with them and stuff. And I get a call from one of you guys or mom or something like that, and he'd be like, no, dude, take it.
Yeah.
And like 100, never like, bro, you're crushing our vibe, man. There was none of that,
Yeah.
none of it, and
That's
that's
cool.
why honestly,
Yeah.
like we bonded so much.
Family is important. I mean, look, and all those nights were great. The Mondrian, the Playboy Mansion.
Oh my gosh.
But honestly, no, and I say this, that was great.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that's
so funny.
spending a few hours there doesn't suck, but
No.
but the
On
family,
Halloween.
honestly, the
Halloween.
most fun memories I have really is when all you guys
Yeah.
were, and I think this was discussed in the last time I was on the podcast, of like bowling with you guys
Yeah.
at Jerry's Deli.
I know.
And
Oh,
going to
yeah.
the movies
Oh, yeah.
and
Yep.
having the popcorn and the candy, watching a great movie
Yep.
together.
Yep.
and-
Yes, dude.
and-
Hawaii.
And dude, you were
Hawaii.
so young, Andy.
I
you
know,
were
dude.
like
I know.
7 or 8 years old,
He
and
was.
I never had any brothers, so it was so cool to be able to have like younger brothers around. And honestly, I'd rather do that. I was looking forward to doing that more than
Yes.
just going out
And that's
to,
why
like,
we
the
did it.
clubs and the bars
And that's
shit
why we
like
did
that.
it so
but-
much. But that's
yeah,
why
we did it all the time.
all the time. That's why we
and
did it.
that was
Yeah.
so great. Like the bowling, and then we had some shakes at Jerry's Deli.
Oh,
Oh,
my
man.
Add a little
Midnight
malt,
shakes,
add a little
yeah.
malt to
Little
the
malt.
shake.
Chocolate
Little
and
malt.
vanilla.
Yes,
with
sometimes.
the
malt,
yes,
with the
yeah.
malt.
Oh.
Yep.
Shoot, it was so great. And going to see movies, and
I
I love,
know.
obviously, I love, my whole life is movies. I
Same.
mean,
Yeah.
that's what I do, and
Same here.
I just love the communal element to it, of like
Yeah.
sitting in a crowded theater and watching a great movie. And
Yeah.
it was so great being with your family and being able to do that like all the time.
It was tremendous.
Yeah,
we
it was
were
a good time.
we often say we were so blessed that the three best friends that we had really just molded right in, especially Shaw, because Andy was younger, so his friend didn't come in till a little later. But with like Andy, Shaw, and Dave, like it was literally just
Yeah.
two extensions of like brotherhood. So
Great.
instead of like three of us, there was literally five of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we were like brothers, and it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
so
The
cool.
Hawaii trips.
Oh, and
so
still to
cool.
this day,
To
like,
Maui. Oh my
just
gosh,
like
so great. And
the-
your family ingratiated me into everything. Oh,
well, it was easy,
awesome.
man. It was
Awesome.
easy to do because you're
Yeah,
a great
I
guy.
appreciate that.
But it was so much fun. I mean, even the way that, like you said, Andy Shaw treated Andy, the way
Right.
Dave treated
I know.
Andy.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah. Oh,
never
I love
It's
having
so
a younger
hard,
brother,
too. It
man.
was so
we
awesome.
were just like
And
Yeah.
still now, dude.
I
we're
know.
still,
Beautiful.
I know.
It was
hanging
just
out.
beautiful.
All the time.
It was so
Oh, it's
beautiful.
awesome.
And
Dave and I
was-
work out together now.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a whole nother
And then-
story,
yeah.
dude. Shout out to Tony
Tony Horton,
creator of
The
P90X.
man. The
That
man.
guy,
the myth, the
that
legend.
guy's a legend.
He is, man.
And
He's awesome.
And honestly, this podcast was the reason why I got a chance to go to Tony's
Yep.
house and work out. And,
Dude.
that's
how we
you
met
guys
him.
had him on, and it was
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's how I met him.
podcast. And Joe
We
and I
did P90X
we did
together.
P90X all
I
the
know.
time.
Wait,
And
didn't
And then I
you-
turned you on
I
to
think
it.
I-
You
I
brought
think
it into
I
the
brought
group.
it into
I
the
You
think
group.
you
did.
brought
Yeah,
it
you
in.
did.
So,
Dave brought it into the group.
P90X.
Yeah, dude, and the fact that I saw Andy at his house, and I
So
listened to the
cool.
podcast, and now I got a chance to meet him, and
Yeah.
it was awesome. I mean,
It's cool.
the podcast is awesome, man. You
It
guys
is.
are
What a
doing
blessing
so great
it's been.
to meet new
Changed our
people. I
lives,
was just mentioning earlier, like the one that you had with Hanson. I mean,
Cool, right?
I mean,
Really
it-
cool
I thought it was
dudes.
gonna be okay. Hanson's like, bop, da-ba-da, bop,
Yeah.
No, dude,
bop,
they're so-
da-ba-da,
yeah,
bop,
yeah.
boom, bop.
And
I thought
scene.
that's
We're
it.
done.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
they have
no,
a bunch
you guys,
of really good music, like really good music.
They're
too.
so
They're
cool,
so
but dude,
talented and so wonderful.
The depth of the conversation at the last tail end of the
Yeah.
podcast blew my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys. So please, Davy Lawrence needs to go to see their show.
You gotta come.
I need
Yeah.
to be included
I
when
know.
you guys go and.
Well,
check
when we
those
when we
guys
work
out.
on a song with him, you got to.
I'm trying to guilt
I
him
really
into
hope
it, dude.
that
I'm trying to guilt him
happens.
into it.
I know.
I've been texting back and forth.
There would be
a
no
little bit.
guilting.
I think
There'll
it
be no
will
guilting.
I
happen.
know.
You
I
have
keep
to make
sending
it
them
happen.
songs. I think they think I'm like some crazy,
No, they
some
don't.
crazy person.
No,
now. I'm like, here,
no,
how about this
no,
one?
no,
How
this
about
is
this
great.
song?
Let me tell you something, dude. The songs that we have are
Yeah,
dope.
there are.
Oh,
And
you
if they were to
guys-
jump
yeah.
on one with us and we were to collab on it,
Well, whatever
great.
they want to do,
Yeah.
whatever
But the whole
they want
thing
to do,
about
they're
this
dope
this
guys.
podcast, and I just want to throw that out there because I know these guys for almost 30 years,
yes.
and everyone that's listening to this podcast, I can tell you for a fact that this is the way these guys are outside of the podcast.
Yep.
The way they're on the podcast is
Mhm.
how they are in real life. So you guys are getting a real look inside the Lawrence brothers,
Yeah.
and there's just it's so great that you guys are doing this and being
Thanks,
real.
Dave.
Yeah, that's the way you guys are. So it's pretty cool for everyone that's
Thanks,
listening. They get a real inside look as to who you guys really are and what you
Yeah.
guys love and how you guys your dynamic and stuff out.
There's definitely no smoke and mirrors.
It's great.
We
I
didn't
love
really
that.
know any better.
I
We
love
certainly
that.
didn't know the world, and just
Yeah.
decided to turn some mics on and start talking one day. And we really didn't have anything to talk about. We just said, I don't know, let's just talk about kind of whatever comes into our minds. And it really took off from there.
Yeah.
And it's just been, it's really been awesome, man. The community continues to grow, and it's really neat. And honestly,
Well,
it's-
this one's gonna crush the.
Oh,
it's gonna,
yeah!
This episode will blow up the internet.
it will. I think it will. I
The
think
David
it will.
Wagner, or David T. Wagner in the Writers
David
Guild.
T. in the Writers Guild.
Yeah, because there's another David Wagner
legal
in
purposes.
the Writers
There's
Guild.
another David
No.
Wagner.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, before me. So
No
that,
way.
So when I finally sold a script, I had to use the T, the David T.
Wow.
Wagner. Yeah,
Isn't that funny?
yeah. So that's what I am in the. Yeah, it's
There's-
pretentious as fuck, but I
There's another Matthew Lawrence in SAG,
Yes,
but
there
his is with an LAU.
You.
And he was getting my checks
what
Ever.
no,
for a while.
Ever, yeah.
Oh,
and then
no.
he finally sent them to me. He was like, I just want to let you know I've been getting your checks because he was older than me. Same thing. He was before
Right,
me.
Right.
So it was interesting.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's so.
Believe
crazy.
it or not, Dave, and it's so funny because, when Dave sort of took off, in the movie world, started writing big movies and stuff, he actually did it. Remember the short that he made?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh, this thing,
Saving.
Saving Ryan's Privates. Yeah,
Saving
yeah, it was
Ryan's
a
Privates.
parody of Saving Private Ryan. It was not a porno,
No,
but it was. It was based on the
it
movie
was
Saving
so.
Private Ryan.
Can people watch that anywhere?
Yes, it's on YouTube. I
Is
think.
it?
I think
Okay.
it's on
You gotta go
YouTube.
to it.
So
It's really
you guys
Saving
got to go.
Ryan's Privates, but don't watch Shaving Ryan's Privates, or
No.
don't watch.
No.
There's a Mad TV one that people think that's mine. It's not. It's the one with Mark DiCarlo that plays the Tom Hanks role, and I play Medic Wade, and my former writing partner has a role in it, and that's what got us an agent. That's what got us off
Wow.
the.
Off the
ground.
schneid,
Off
as
the
they
schneid,
say. Yeah. But I mean, literally, like, they did this. And let me tell you something. They did it for almost no money. And it looks, I mean, it's 1990, what, 7 or 8 you did
Yeah,
this?
98.
Yeah. It looks so good. And for
Yeah.
what it is,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah.
And it's
Thank
so funny.
Yeah.
It is so funny. I love it because we were just talking about this in another episode last week, and we were talking about like Naked Gun and how Naked Gun. We love the deadpan.
Oh,
Leslie Nielsen never broke. That was all reality to
Genius.
him, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we were saying, and we'll get your take on it too, like the new, like Liam Neeson taking over for that, and we'll see, because he also has that sort of deadpan ability too. Everything is comedy around him, but it's all real to him.
He's so
Okay.
serious.
Well, in Saving Ryan's Privates, nobody. I mean, this is a World War II movie. I mean, this is as serious as it gets. But what they're talking about is, his junk. You know what I mean?
They're trying to save
Right.
It's
a
right.
man's
it's
penis.
eight men trying to save one man's penis.
Yes. But they treat it like it's
It's serious.
a fallen hero.
Yes.
I mean, it is.
Oh,
And nobody breaks.
No, I
it's so
remember,
brilliant.
I
It's
remember.
brilliant.
Really
Anyway,
funny.
that gave way to the agent, and then they
Got it.
they started writing and coming into their own, and they wrote a little script called, Van Wilder.
Yeah.
And then they wrote a script called Girl Next Door, which actually,
Yeah.
if you've never seen Girl Next Door,
Great movie.
I know,
Just turned
I know.
20. Just
Really?
turned. Yeah, we just had
Really?
the 20th anniversary of The Girl Next Door.
Alicia Cuthbert.
Alicia
right?
Cuthbert, Emile Hirsch,
Emile Hirsch,
yeah.
Timothy Oliphant,
Oliphant,
and
yeah.
Paul Dano.
I know.
Wow, that's
One of
right.
the first roles that Paul Dano.
Wow.
Let me tell you something. This
man.
movie is good.
It was
Thank
really
you.
good.
This movie
yeah, it
is
was really good.
I know it's gotten a real cult following, because honestly, it was almost too cool at the time it came out.
Yeah, it was
honestly,
really
It-
good.
like it was in the
Yeah.
middle of like all this other kind of
Well,
like
The Passion of the Christ, I think, came out at the same weekend. So you can't really release a movie on Easter
oh,
about a
man.
high school kid taking a porn star to, or former porn star to prom
What an idiot!
It
What
was not.
idiots.
It was not.
Why
a
would they
great
release that
weekend
film
for that? Not a great weekend.
No, it should have been Valentine's Day or something.
Something.
That would have been
Yeah.
huge.
And I don't think the marketing
Spring
was
Break,
the best. I
huge.
think, tonally that movie swayed and leaned into more of like a risky business
Oh,
It
vibe,
for
100% leaned into
as
that.
opposed to
American
a little bit
Pie.
more broader.
Yeah.
They tried to make an
Right.
American Pie,
And they marketed
was-
it like a teenage
Yeah.
broad comedy where I
Mm.
think it had a little bit more.
And
depth
if they
to
had
it.
gone,
yeah.
if they had gone risky business and actually took it more like American, I know it sounds crazy, but like American Beauty, risky business, because it was intense and it was
Yeah,
fun,
no,
it was smart,
It had edge to it.
and I feel like then
Yeah.
it would have been a whole different.
But it
would've
found an
first of all been-
audience.
It did.
It found.
Well,
it
'cause it's-
found, it found an
yeah.
audience.
It's a
great movie. It's a
Yeah,
great
movie.
which is really. I'm just so grateful for that. And
Van,
Drew-
obviously.
Van Wilder was also too. It was like it was an amazing experience. Ryan was fantastic.
I mean, to this day, Ryan literally said, I had all these failures. I was trying to become a movie star and do all these bad movies, and then I realized that I just needed to play a superhero that basically was Van Wilder in a superhero outfit. He just said that. He said, and I know
Really?
now that whether it's Van in a superhero outfit or Van as a father or Van as this or Van as that, basically that's basically all I do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, Ryan is great. Ryan ingratiated us as writers on the totem pole are pretty low, on the totem pole, the writers. But we were on set. We were loitering on set, of course. We probably shouldn't have been there, but the director was cool enough to let
Yeah.
us come. And Ryan was so cool. I mean, Ryan, we talked about the script. He read the script like every day before showing up to set, just to know where his character was before the scene that they were going to shoot. And he knew the script inside. And dude, he's a pro. That
Yeah,
guy is a pro.
he is a
And
pro.
he invited us to his dressing room and talk about the script and little rewrites here and there. So he deserves all the success that he has. I mean, he's a great dude.
Mint Mobile, baby. Mint Mobile.
Mint.
Oh,
Dude,
what
I
a- what a
cannot
smart-
wait
Yeah.
to see Deadpool and
Oh
Wolverine.
my
Yes.
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
I
gosh.
cannot wait.
Me too.
I'm
So
so
let's all
excited.
go. Let's all
Dude,
go.
let's
Okay,
do it.
we should make a
We'll do it.
classic
Yes.
Okay, we'll do it.
movie
Movie
experience.
night about it.
Call
Movie
Shawsy.
night.
We'll do
Dude,
it.
All
Old
right.
school.
Dude, that would be so fun.
No,
I
guys, we're
literally,
doing it.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
fact
When
that
when does it come out?
That whole thing when
This
they
summer.
Yeah.
this July, soon, a couple months.
July?
The fact that when he called up Hugh Jackman and did that commercial where he's just walking behind him up the stairs, she's like, "Hey
my
Hugh,
God.
you want to play Wolverine again?"
Right.
And he was,
So great.
"Yeah, why not?"
So great.
How genius! Like this guy
Yeah.
is.
Genius.
I mean,
I'll tell you a fun fact.
bang,
A fun fact
home
about
run,
Van
home after
Wilder,
run,
and I don't know if
home
you want me
after
to bring
run.
this up, but I'm
No,
going
go
to
ahead.
do it anyways.
Do it.
Joey was auditioned for Van Wilder for the role of the antagonist, Richard Bagg, right? I
Dick
think
bag.
Dick Bagg.
Yeah.
And he got the part. He
Got it.
got the part. And here's another reason why family is so important to you, and this is a testament to you again, is like he was already locked into doing a movie with
Jumping
you
ship.
guys, jumping
Yeah,
ship in
that's
Australia,
right.
I think,
It's
right?
true.
And he couldn't do.
Well,
Van
I was going to have to
Wilder.
choose or push jumping ship
Yeah.
to do this movie. Disney was, typical Disney, and they wouldn't let me out to do it.
Wow.
And I said, guys, there's like a 2-week crossover. Can we just either move
Push it
jumping
just
ship
for a
2
little
weeks,
bit.
and they wouldn't do it, and I had to make a choice,
Yeah,
Wow.
no.
which was really unfortunate because I would have loved to have played that.
That would have been a
'cause
great
it would have been
time.
such,
That would've been a
especially at
great
that time, no one would have ever seen me
It's true.
as this character because Dick Bag was like such a jerk.
Yeah.
And he was the antagonist. I mean, he
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
mean, unlikable, but really funny. And
Yeah.
and I would have been able to really, really show people like a
it's
whole
like
other
the Bradley
side.
Cooper role in Wedding Crashers.
It's very much like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
No, it really
Yeah.
is like that.
Yeah.
So
very
fun
much.
fact. I bet not a lot of people know that.
Probably not a lot. I don't
that
think
you,
anyone
that
knows
you
that.
got the part.
I
You
did.
nailed it. And
Yeah.
I saw the audition tape, and he was fantastic.
I don't know. Yeah, it's such. Isn't that suck? Like what
Yeah.
the hell, man?
Isn't that the business? This
It's
the business is-
ridiculous. They,
it's
they don't
such-
ever reward you
right?
for like that's
No.
insane.
No, I know.
How do you?
I
How does
know.
that? How does Disney not let you out to do a big movie? That's
I-
nuts.
It's stupid. So stupid. And it was like
It's
literally 2
infuriating.
weeks. Like
And thank you
I
for
know, I
calling it a
remember.
big movie, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well,
It was.
it is. Well,
Well,
that's a
it-
big
You
movie.
know how
all-
much money that movie was made for? $6 million, dude.
Okay.
$6
Well, maybe
million
a,
budget.
a smaller movie.
And it went on. But wait a minute. It went on to make
Yeah,
that'd be like
well,
a $12
it made
million
a lot-
film today. But
Yeah,
that would be
gross is why I consider it a big movie.
I
Dude.
don't know how much money it's made, but I could tell you it
Dude,
sold a ton
I'm
of.
sure it's.
I
so
think it
much-
made like 21 million
It's been
domestically,
iconic.
but
It's been
it
iconic.
sold millions
and it
millions
and it
of
launched
DVDs. and
Ryan Reynolds.
It launched
man.
Ryan.
I mean, how do
yeah.
you not?
And it helped us too.
Oh,
a
sure,
great
of
deal,
course, of course.
We
These-
got the
these
girl
guys
next door
became-
of
from
course,
it,
of
and-
course, yeah.
These guys became.
but
I mean,
that movie is iconic.
But yeah,
That's an iconic
it's a
movie.
grind. This business is such a grind, isn't it?
is,
It's,
it is.
Yeah.
Dude, since 10 years old. I mean, and you guys have been doing it for even longer than that. I started when I was 10. It's crazy, but as painful as this business is,
It's beautiful.
Yeah, dude.
It is. It's
yeah,
like-
dude. The budget was $6 million.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it
it's
made
crazy.
$58,275,000.
That's a hit.
Yeah,
man.
dude, that's a
That is
hit.
Yeah.
smash.
yeah, it was
hit.
great. It
And
was
that's
great.
by the way, that's then. Okay, I love this website.
Yeah.
Average ticket price $4.
crazy.
So think about what that movie actually made.
I'll tell
Right.
you what a great moment it
Now,
was.
if today,
Yeah.
okay, you look at these movies like Dune and all these movies and things. We often talk about it because we talk about romantic comedies here all the time, and
They're
and how
they're-
just
it's
they
so
don't really know how to
disheartening.
make them anymore. And when we talk about
It's
specifically, look,
disheartening.
not to badmouth anybody because there's no one had any control over it. The movie I just feel was really forced, and if you compare it to really great romantic comedies like Notting Hill or My
I
Best
love
Friend's
Dune,
Wedding,
by the way,
or
anyway.
any one of these, right? Notting Hill, My Best Friend's
Right.
Wedding Crashers, any one of these.
Sure.
And you look at this movie like Anyone But You,
Oh,
you know?
dude.
I mean, I mean, in my opinion, it just wasn't that great, okay? It wasn't. It felt forced, and I don't know. I just didn't like it that much.
Did you
but
see it?
regardless,
I did see it, and look, I just wrote a romantic comedy that's I think at Netflix right now. So praying that Netflix
that
buys
is
it.
better than that.
Got
movie.
a great producer, Mark Ciardi. Shout out to Mark Ciardi. He's amazing. He did Miracle and Rookie of the Year.
Oh,
and
cool.
He's done a ton of movies. The Game Plan, Tooth Fairy, all those.
Oh, I love Game
Yeah,
Plan. I love that movie.
He's great, and we got a
Yeah.
director attached and praying. But that movie, I think Will Gluck is a very talented
yeah,
writer.
it just
and
was
director.
it felt very forced
But
to
it-
me. It just felt very forced.
but guess what? It
it
crushed.
did crush.
because people
Yeah,
are
it's still-
yearning
I know.
for
that's
a
my
kind
point.
of classic romantic comedy, and
Yep.
it did have moments of the sort of classic romantic comedy beats.
So it made like
So
$100
they
million
need to
bucks.
make more of those kinds of movies. Maybe the different execution.
That's it.
Yeah.
But they
No,
need.
I rooted for that film. I just compare it to the romantic comedies I grew up on. Even like
Sure.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is a fabulous movie. Anyone But You is not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, to your point, it made what, like $100 million, right?
I think even
Over?
more.
Okay.
I think even
So
more.
so here's
And
the,
it's
so here's
now
the deal.
it's always trending high on Netflix.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout
Right.
out to
Yeah.
Netflix.
So here's the deal. My point is, say it made $120 million, whatever it made, but a $58 million ticket prices today are $17, $16. So now you take $58 million, right? And you multiply the
triple
$4,
Just triple it.
Yeah.
at least triple it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now you're talking that's $180 million, $170
I'm just
million
glad
movie.
people are going to the movies.
So that's how many
again,
people
to be
actually
honest.
saw.
Same here.
But that's how many people saw Van Wilder.
Yeah.
I always
A lot of
look at that
people.
because ticket
Yeah,
prices.
that's a great way to
mean,
look at it.
Look, it's a big deal when you look at these
Mhm.
prices,
Yeah.
dude. I'm a big student of like numbers and like I'm into that, right? So you go to like boxofficemojo.com or whatever, and you can see it. But when you go to these sites that say this is what the movie would make today, like if for inflation and ticket price, if you look at the Indiana Jones,
Oh.
oh my god,
Yeah.
it's billions. Like it would be
Yeah.
number one by a mile.
Yeah.
Raiders of the Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade,
Yeah.
incrical.
Oh,
Incredible.
I love those. That
Ticket
franchise.
prices were like $3 when those movies came out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
$3 and they're making $400 million. You know, so
I
you
miss
think
those
about-
days. I honestly miss
Yeah.
those days of like waiting in line at the movies
Me
and the
too.
lines
Oh,
around
me
the
too.
corner.
I know.
And then you're going to see this great movie.
You have to
Oh,
go
it's
there
so
and,
great.
I miss rushing to get there and two people going to get the seats. The other two go to the concession stand.
Yes.
Right?
Put the coats down.
Oh
Yes.
man,
Yeah.
I mean, like, see, that's life.
Mm.
Life is a little messy. Life, you have to plan. Life has to have some sort of organization. People, believe it or not, you had to work together. Whether you were in a friend group,
Well, you
or
just
had friends, or with a
you just had to
family.
work a little bit harder.
The
for
family had to
stuff.
work
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Mom and dad go get it, or mom runs off with two of the kids. Dad goes off, or the friends go down.
Or the kids go there and the
Right.
parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a whole thing.
This is life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are losing
Love
the
it.
ability, and I believe like why we're in such a weird place and nobody can work together anymore, it seems, is because we're not working together. This thing has created an ability to do so many things solo without having to figure it
the
out.
connectivity
Yes.
is gone. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
And I miss it.
I miss it
those
too,
days,
man.
dude.
Me
I miss
too.
those
I miss it
days,
too.
man,
The-
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you yearn for that nostalgia, and that feeling. But I guess every generation probably
Maybe.
It always
Yeah.
it
Feels that
trickles.
way,
It trickles.
you know?
It trickles.
I feel like 80s,
But
90s were pretty
it's
special. But
Oh God, he says
Yeah.
this every time.
I do.
They
Every-
were pretty.
They
special.
You
were.
need a tattoo that's like I love the 80s
Yeah,
and
yeah,
90s.
Great couple decades.
Right, right. I mean, they were great. They were great.
we had a good run. We had a good run.
I love what you said too about about how like you love like movies and going to see movies and how collaborative it is and how people all go to a theater.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about it. It really is. That's the whole that's also like a whole process of making movies.
Yeah.
Is it such a like from
It
even
is
from
a
like the
collaborative.
conception to when you see it and you get to
Right.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's really always a group
It
experience.
starts with the script, though.
It does.
It starts with the
It
script.
starts with the script.
Come on.
It starts
Always
with the
starts with
script.
the script.
Right?
It does.
Right. But
Absolutely.
it is a collaborative
It
effort.
is. Oh, of
and-
course. But that's where it starts. 100%.
Got to have a good script, and then at the end
That's
of the
the
day,
seed,
you have
man.
to have a good director,
And a
good
great
cast,
cast.
That's the
good
seed.
editor,
Yep.
And
It's
a,
alchemy,
and a
right, guys?
producer.
because you
good
could take an amazing
producer,
script and
yeah,
destroy it.
good
Yeah,
studio.
Literally,
absolutely, no.
look, that's
Yeah.
happened. I mean, how many
Yeah.
times has that happened?
Yeah.
It
Script
is
is amazing.
this business of movie making is
Yeah.
it is
So-
alchemy. It's an elixir that you just can't. There's no recipe. There's no ingredient. You know, you do have to have, the ingredients, and yet it still might not work. But you have sometimes it's just magic. And I remember
is.
the movies that have that magic. I remember where I was sitting and which theater I was in when I watched Back to the Future. You know?
Yes.
I remember.
You know why we're best
where,
friends, right?
I mean, you guys
I-
are so similar. It's
I
weird.
remember where I was sitting, and
Yeah.
that's the kind of cathartic sort of experience that I had. And after seeing that movie, I'm like, I want to do this. It's like, and even when I was even younger on the performing side, I remember my parents taking me to like musical theater, and I'm gonna get shit from all my friends. Shout out to Scott Schulman who laughs at me because I love musical theater. But
Do
but
you really?
I love musical theater,
And
man.
we
'cause
just start laughing.
my
Wait, you
No,
like
great.
musical theater? really?
Dude, I grew up. My parents every New Year's Eve took me to a play, a musical.
Dave
at,
was
like,
in The King and
Schubert-
I with
I did
Yul-
The King and I with Yul Brenner.
with
Yeah,
Yul
back in-
Brenner.
I started out
Yes.
as in theater. I did theater all the
crazy.
time, and I think that's and then I did the show at the LA Cabaret and hone the craft, how to perform, and I think that's why I won Star Search, because I had all these years of practice performing in front of an audience before I actually did Star Search.
Makes sense.
So dude, I love the theater, and I just love the experience of going to New York and going to Broadway and seeing shows, and I think
That was fun.
I
Yeah, it
just
was actually.
We haven't done that in a while, but man,
Yeah.
we used to do it a lot. It was a
Yeah.
lot of
it's
fun.
great, and you were on Broadway, right?
I
Did you do
was.
Chicago?
I did
Oh my
Chicago on
God,
Broadway.
That
It
is
was a lot
just
of
so
fun.
cool.
It
That
was a lot
is
of
so
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
You guys have done so many amazing things, and I've had a piece of that. I got a chance to perform at the White House for Reagan. I get
So
to
did
sing.
I. You and
Yeah.
me both. We shared that.
No
That's
way.
another thing we shared in common. Yes.
I got, because I won Star Search. One of the judges was Al Burton, and he hired me to sing the theme song to Charles in Charge. So I got to do some really.
Remember that
Did you not-
Charles in charge.
Oh yeah, you ready?
Oh, by dates. Oh,
The
by-
new boy in the neighborhood lives downstairs, and it's understood. He's there just to take good care of me, like he's one of the family. Charles in charge
Oh
of
my
our
God.
days and our nights.
Boom, boom, and the
Charles in charge of
Really?
our wrongs
Yeah.
and our rights. And I say, I want Charles in charge of me. And that was that. I did that when I was 13
Hey.
before the balls dropped. But that was, yeah, dude. I got a chance, and honestly,
unbelievable?
I still get checks. I still get residual checks,
amazing.
like 10 cents every time. But they had another girl singing that, and so you can barely hear me. But it was stuff like that, like the White House, Charles and I got to do the voice of Linus on Charlie Brown for a while. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. So
Isn't that amazing?
this business is, and we said as painful. And,
Yeah, oh,
and
yeah,
how
there's some
much
pain.
rejection you
Yep.
face, and all
Yeah.
the no's.
It's
and-
mostly rejection.
mostly, yeah.
But
and-
if you're lucky, you get a couple of great moments.
yes, but I tell you, the experiences that we've all had,
Mhm.
were amazing. And I think you touched upon this in the podcast with Hanson. It's like you hear a ton of no's, you hear a ton of passes, and you're so vulnerable. This business, you're judged constantly, and
Yeah.
you're criticized, and people say no all the time, and it's vulnerable. You put yourself out there, you put your
Yeah.
art out there,
You
right?
do.
And when someone says no to you or pass on a script that I write, it hurts, right?
Yeah.
'Cause it's you.
We're human, right? It's a part of you, and perform as actors and singers. You guys,
Yeah.
it's a part of you that you're putting out there, and when you get that rejection, it's painful. But when you guys finally, get a yes, and you get to
Oh,
perform,
it's so rewarding, huh?
yeah, it's so rewarding,
Yeah.
and when you perform in front of a crowd. And I know you guys had an opportunity recently, right, to do a podcast in front of an audience and get that instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
That's like, it's like a drug that that's why I don't need real drugs, because that's really the drug,
Oh yeah,
right?
it's the best.
When
I
people
agree with
come
you,
up
bro.
to me and recite a line that I wrote from a movie, I get the chills. You know,
Yeah.
that's so grateful for those
Yeah.
moments. And when you guys, I'm sure, perform and get that resounding applause,
it's nice.
and people come up to you and want pictures and autographs and stuff like that. And I've been a part of it. And I've seen you guys on trips, and when we go out, you guys never turn down a photo that someone wants. You guys never turn down an autograph, and I love that about you guys, that you always were great to your fans and your audience.
man.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks, man.
They're the
You know,
reason we get to do what we do.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're you know, I don't know what else I would do. You know, to me, it's like
I know. Me
I'm a
either.
storyteller by nature, right? And I think, you know, it's a scary thing, especially I get it because I'm a parent, you know, and my boys are at this age that they're trying to figure out what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And I remember, you know, my dad, more so my dad than my mom, of like scared, and I get it, like scared, like, are you sure this is what you want to do? I mean, you'll go to law school, you know, you can write as a hobby, but go to law school, be a lawyer. But
For sure.
honestly, I'd die a slow death probably going to law school and being a lawyer, because this is what we do. This is who we are, right?
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure.
I'm a storyteller. I
Yep.
want to write, and I want to be on a movie set, and that's just what gets me going, man.
I know,
Yeah,
man.
me
That's
too.
the passion,
I
right?
know.
You guys with the performing. It's
Yeah,
like,
I know.
there's nothing. I'm not going to go get a real estate license. I'm not
I
going to
know.
go to law school.
know.
No.
No, I
Yeah.
know.
This is what we are. This is who we are.
Yeah.
Yep, I know.
Yeah,
And
I
I
always
really
say
is
that.
true.
I'll always be, you know, an entertainer or wanting to make movies till the day I die.
Yes.
You know, and they'll come up to me like, wow, you know, it's good to see you back out there. I was like, well, you know, I never really went anywhere. It's just certain things that you do are more
Yes.
high profile than others throughout a
I know.
career. And
Isn't
And
it
I
funny?
love that you're doing this to kind of like get people again, like to remember you. The
Yeah.
Lawrence brothers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. But yeah, man, this is who we are, and it's been quite a journey for me. You know, I've tasted, just like you guys, the highs of highs and the lows of lows, and
Oh, yeah.
and everything in between. And now I'm a full-time student right now. I'm getting my master's degree in.
What if you're like, I'm going to
screenwriting.
law school?
No, I'm going to law school. I'm giving up. No, I
And
am.
that's why I've decided to become a lawyer.
what? You just
No,
destroyed.
we're all of us were just like, wow, that's.
It's full circle.
Can
for
we edit
me,
the
man.
last 3 minutes out, please? Can we edit that? Because
I'm getting my real estate
Sell
license.
out. I'm getting my real estate license as I'm going to law school.
Sell out.
Yeah, no, man,
This guy.
I'm going. I can't. I would never, ever.
After that whole speech, we're all crying, and he's like, "That's why I've decided to get my real estate license."
What?
I'm back at my alma mater, man. Shout out to the Matadors at CSUN. Yeah, I'm a graduate student and getting
Wow.
and you know, I'm a student for the first time in like 30 years. Like this older
Wow.
dude.
You've become
Amongst-
World's oldest freshman.
Yes, amongst
Wasn't
all
it-
these young.
We were gonna do something like that, right?
That would have been a great idea.
That was
yeah,
a great
the fir-
idea. Yeah.
No, but I'm learning, you know, these young people, shout out to the cohort at the CSUN Masters program. But yeah, they're very young, hungry, talented writers, and I have to learn how to be a student again, which is not easy.
No.
Aren't you a teacher too, though?
I am. I did. Yeah, I was a adjunct instructor at UCLA's professional
Yes.
program in screenwriting for a little bit, and now,
Yes.
yeah. So it's an interesting dynamic
Wow.
of me sitting at a desk now with the backpack and learning
Wow.
from.
He's always had a
profess-
backpack.
Yeah.
Right,
Always.
as-
You bring
So
snack
always-
packs?
I do. I bring.
brings his
snacks.
Van
I have
Wilder
a wa-
backpack is
a
what he
water
does.
bottle. I have my water bottle. I don't have
He wrote
stickers on it,
this.
but I have like a water bottle I bring. Yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip,
Wow,
and
that
I'm
is.
learning from them, and I think they're learning from me, and I think I'm learning from the professors, and I think the professors might be learning from me a little bit too.
That's crazy.
Cool.
It's pretty crazy. So, you
Wow,
know,
Dave.
I
That's
think
really-
you know, writing is always something I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And if there comes a time when it's, you know, time to be a professor of screenwriting, I'm open to that. That
Yeah.
would be very.
Mhm.
Again, you know, you want stuff that fills your creative cup, right? And I think that's something that I'd be willing to pivot to that eventually. Right
Right.
now, I'm not giving. I'm in the grind. I'm
Yeah.
writing the romantic comedy. I
Oh,
got
yeah.
a family comedy.
It's gonna
I've got
happen,
stuff,
dude.
and there's a project, and I don't want to talk too much about it with Andy attached to direct, with something with Tony Horton, and I think, you know,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
something that's going to happen. So I'm excited about that. There's a ton of
It's gonna be killer.
things. Yeah, there's
gonna
a
be
ton of
great,
things
guys.
in the development, and that's what keeps me going. That's
Yeah.
what keeps me excited.
For sure.
And going to school is an interesting pivot for me,
Yeah.
but I'm a storyteller, man.
Yeah.
I'm a
It's-
storyteller.
It's like an old movie that Rodney Dangerfield filmed, Back to School. That's
Oh,
Dave.
which was shot at
I didn't give
university.
no respect, like the old
right?
guy.
Yeah.
If you ever seen Back
Oh,
to School,
gosh.
it's not a great
Oh, it's
film, but
it
it's,
is a
but
great film.
I love it. I love it, but
It's
it's
a great
dated,
film.
But, you
Filmed
know.
at University of Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Go Badgers.
Where my Go Badgers, where my son Alex is graduating
How do I know
Oh,
this?
wow.
in a couple weeks, and we're going to
It was
shout
the-
out to Alex AWAGS,
It was also the inspiration
Wow.
for Billy Madison,
Billy
Yes,
Madison.
which-
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
which is
It's-
it was.
it's
a
awesome.
similar.
It's
know,
crazy.
It's similar. It's exactly right.
So
Yes.
great.
Oh,
It's
I
so
love
great.
Billy
Yeah.
Madison.
I can't believe I got 2 boys in college. Shout out to Logan too, man. He's
Yeah,
at Boulder.
man.
He's at Boulder, freshman at Boulder, and a kid graduating college. It's crazy.
That's
Crazy.
incredible.
It really
Yeah.
is wild, dude. I know.
It's been
I know. I
it's
got
been
I
a
got I
crazy
got Charlie
journey,
going
man.
into college. I got Libby going into high school. It's unbelievable.
It's
and,
unbelievable.
and then I have
Your daughters are amazing.
and then I have Dylan going into a potty to try to pee.
Right.
So it's a very
I
generational
know.
gap. It's
That's
crazy.
incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Dude.
It is
that's
incredible.
a trip.
What did you do at the White House when you performed for Reagan?
So
because I
I
went
s-
to the Easter egg. The Easter egg
I was there.
celebration.
So this was.
You were there, yeah.
Do you guys remember? Like,
you were there with me. You were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you were there.
I was there.
I performed. I performed. Well, it was 1986, so I did
Okay.
"Let's Hear It for the Boys." Remember
Okay,
the
of course. From
Let's
I
hear
remember
it
this.
for the
I have
boys.
memories of this.
Wow.
Of course, because you were right there, and they redid the track, and I did "Let's Hear It for the Girls."
Oh,
They
that's
rewrote
cute.
the song,
That's
Mm.
cute.
and it was
And you did it solo, I'm sure, and you were.
I performed up there
'cause
on
you
the
were
stage.
famous, yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But for me,
with my track, and I did my dancing, and
that's amazing.
at my
It was 1984 for me, and I sang with a group of kids with Mary Martin. She
Oh
was
my
a
gosh.
huge Broadway star.
I know Mary Martin. She played Peter
the Sound of
Pan.
Peter
Mhm.
Pan, The Sound of
Oh,
Music.
yeah.
So we
Wow.
sang
No
we
way.
sang a couple songs from The Sound of Music with Mary Martin.
God.
Wow,
with
that's
Angela,
crazy.
I did it with Angela Lee. Remember Angela Lee?
Do
She
you remember
was a
Angela
yeah,
Lee?
and a few others.
Didn't you? Wasn't Jenny Lewis on
Scott
that?
Nemus, I think, was part of it.
Was he?
Yeah,
Wasn't Jenny Lewis part of those Hollywood hooligans or no?
I think Jenny Lewis was. I honestly,
Jenny
I
Lewis
don't-
turned into
I
this
don't-
huge indie rock
Mm.
legend now. But
Yes,
Jenny Lewis
yes,
is huge.
Yes,
But she broke much later in life, and she was always in
she
those
was.
circles.
In the we did a show called The Hollywood Hooligans, and
Right.
that was Martika was in that.
Right.
Jerry Sherrill was in that. Angela was in that.
Right.
All the Stacey Ferguson, all the Kids Incorporated. Remember the show Kids Incorporated?
I certainly
my
do.
gosh.
Yeah,
Remember
I
that,
performed
dude?
with all those people.
Remember
but
Kids
yeah,
Incorporated?
I do.
We used to watch.
But
that.
it was
Yeah.
awesome going to the White House. I got to eat roast beef sandwiches with Reagan.
Oh,
and-
it was amazing.
it was in the red room or something.
Do you have chocolate cake by any chance?
I don't think they had chocolate. I
And
remember
jelly
just
beans.
just the most juicy.
Reagan had jelly beans everywhere.
Yes,
Reagan
and,
set
and
jelly
yes,
beans.
of
chocolate
course.
cake. He always had one on Air Force One.
Yes,
It
he
was
did.
a chocolate cake thing.
And it
love
was the
chocolate
first
cake.
time I went with my dad. I don't know why my mom didn't go, but we were in the biggest airplane I've ever been. And I to this day I don't like to fly, but
Oh, yeah, you
it was
don't.
yeah I hate flying. But
I'll tell
I
you a
was in a
story about that.
747
Oh, gosh.
jumbo jet, and I was upstairs. Like there was 2 levels.
Yeah.
And I remember on the plane to Washington in that big airplane, I was like in awe. But that was a great
Were
trip.
you as fearful then to fly, or no? Was that developed later?
Not as much. And I think it was. Look, I think we had a bad experience. I was doing a movie and acting in a movie called Mystery Mansion. It was shot in Oregon. We took a flight to San Francisco, and then another flight to Oregon.
Was it on like one of those little planes?
It was not a big plane, and it
Oh,
was a rough
gosh.
landing.
Oh,
and ever
terrible.
since then, I've been really afraid of flying. I
Mm.
think my mom probably instilled a little fear. My mom, God bless her, I love her with all my heart. I miss her so much. But I think she instilled a little fear in there. She was
Yeah,
she
I
was
get
a
it.
little
She didn't
fearful
like
of-
to fly.
She didn't like to fly, so
Yeah.
I kind of carried that on a little bit. But my boys, thank God, my wife and they don't care. They love
good.
flying.
All
They
Alex
don't
and
mind
Logan
it.
have no fear. of
Alex
flying.
and Logan have zero fear of flying.
That's
thank
great.
God.
That's
I'll never
good.
forget it. I'll never
never
forget. We were
I'll never forget it.
we were
either.
on our way.
It's
to,
an
experience
Took
flying with
Dave
you.
to Hawaii,
Oh boy.
and the first time he came to Hawaii with
Yeah, I
us on a
remember.
plane, and we were
I think we told the story before.
we were very
can tell it
fortunate.
again,
We
yeah.
were in first class, and we were up there, and there's not as many people in first class, so it's more intimate, should I say? And we're sitting there, and I'm like, "What do you think?" He's like, "Hey, this is great." I am a little nervous how to fly. I was like, "Yeah, but don't worry about it. We were flying all over the place."
Yeah.
He's
Oh
like,
my God, you didn't.
he's like,
know.
"But we're gonna get there safe, right?" I was like, "Of course we're gonna get there safe."
Get there safe.
so,
asking questions.
we're
Oh
like
my God,
we're
nerve
like probably
questions.
20, and you guys are whatever, and we're flying. We would go every year, so Dave was coming with us for the first time. It was really fun, and then the stewardess would walk by and she'd be like, "Hey, can I get you guys anything else?" Like, "I'll just have a water," before you take off. And Dave's like, "Hey, this plane's safe, right?" and she was
I
like,
always
"Of
have to
course it is."
ask.
And he goes like it's good, right? And
I
she's like,
always
"Yeah." He
always
goes,
pound the
"All right,
plane. Yeah.
all right,
What?
all right, all right, all right, all
always
right, all right."
pound the
So he
plane?
starts pounding the center console. He's like, This is gonna be good. And
And
I'm like,
when I enter the airplane, I go left foot first, and I tap the side of the plane before entering the aircraft, and then I always ask the flight attendant, "How are the pilots? How are the pilots? Are the pilots?"
He was
do you
doing
like
that.
the pilots? And they always say
What if they
something
say
nice.
no?
I know that one was like, I don't know. He might have had a few drinks. A couple joked with me, but
Get me off this
and that
plane,
was not
honey.
good.
Get the bags.
No,
We're
it's-
getting off this plane.
But
He
most
just
of the
goes-
time, and I did, and this until this day, I still do the same thing, and it's funny
You
because
pound the plane.
yes, and
so he's pounding, he's stomping.
I feel like
right?
they would
And
kick
I'm like,
you off the
I'm
plane
like,
now.
so
They
it
might-
started to
might
get
not let
pretty
you
loud.
fly.
And the two people over there, you guys were behind us, but two people over here, and the people in front of us were like, you get that first like, that thing, and I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? He's like, just I'm making sure the plane's safe. I'm like, it's safe, dude. We're good. He's like, no, but
Hey man, what are you doing?
it is what it is. So, okay. And then his whole demeanor changes. Well, because he's a jokey, fun guy. They go, all right, we'd like you to buckle up, please. He goes,
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde
he
here.
buckles up, and then he just does this. He sits in the seat, and he's like this, and he starts staring straight ahead. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And the plane's backing up, and he goes, oh, okay, all right. And I'm like,
Yep.
this guy's not serious. Okay.
Yeah, no, I was
and
very...
the plane does this one little lurch as it gets forward to go, and then he's like, oh. And I'm like, this is not
Everybody
happening.
looks.
it's not over. It's
Everybody,
not
I
over.
know.
So then we
everybody
pull
starts
into
looking.
the runway, and you hear the, and he's like, oh, okay, it's gonna be fine, And we go to take off the plane. I'm gonna do
I
an
remember.
actual volume,
I know.
first class. Ready? Here we go. It's gonna be great. 1, 2, and we're taking off. And he's counting at the top. I'm like, how long is this counting? He's like, first 60 seconds. First 60 seconds of the plane are always the worst. They're the
180
worst.
seconds.
180
First
seconds are always
first
worst
3
dangerous.
minutes.
Yes.
Yes, it was
The
crazy.
top of his lungs to 180.
I don't
was
remember
like,
it being the top of my lungs.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I
No.
remember at one point it was like it was fine till about 11 or 12, and then there was a little bit of turbulence, and it was like
Yeah.
12, 12,
Yeah.
12,
Yeah.
12, 12, 12.
It pitched.
Okay,
It pitched.
13. Okay, we're on to 13.
It pitches. It pitches. 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. Oh,
I look
8,
over.
9. Yeah,
I look
it
over.
pitches.
It's
Yeah.
the first time we've ever
I'm
flown my
sweating.
family.
Yeah, dude.
I look over.
Yeah.
My mom and dad are like this.
What? Everybody's looking.
Matt and Andy are like this.
Yep,
And
yep.
I'm sitting next to him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
I've gotten much better over the years.
Yes.
I now have it on the clock, the timer on my
Oh,
phone.
there you go.
So I press start, and then I just stare at the clock until 180 seconds, and then
That
I'm
is a bit less intrusive.
yeah.
Yes.
I keep it on for like the
What?
first 10 minutes because a pilot told me that the first 3 minutes of the flight is the most crucial.
Yeah.
But when I get to cruising altitude, I'm pretty good.
yeah,
I'm-
no, he
I'm
did
pretty
chill
good.
out. He did chill
But
out.
yeah, flying is not fun.
We get
but,
up.
Imagine if he was
We
like
get
that
up.
for 5 hours.
No,
Oh
we
my
get
God.
up. We get up.
I mean,
It was
like-
so funny though because he goes, 97, 98, all this stuff. It's torture. It's literal torture. When we get to altitude, he literally goes like this. He's like, everyone else is pissed. Everybody is pissed, and he goes, okay.
Yep.
All right.
And
Well,
yeah,
we're good. We're
yeah.
good. We're gonna be
have a
good. It's gonna be
drink.
good
I
flight.
always, yeah,
It's gonna be a
always-
good flight. And
good
the
flight.
stewardess comes over and he's like, yeah, I'll have it. That'd be great.
until the
Thank you."
the descent.
Yep.
And
Yeah, then it gets a little.
I don't count.
One,
No, I don't
Counts-
count. I don't count for
He
the
doesn't
landing.
count for the landing, but it is
as it
touch
goes
and go.
down, it's like, oh my God. And then, you hear the grinding of
Yeah.
whatever, the flaps. And then I always have to, and I still to this day always have to touchdown. And then finally it touches down. And then honestly,
He was
I
saying
always
this-
clap. I always applaud the pilot for landing.
He's saying this one
Yeah.
night. I'll never forget. He's saying this one night. Touchdown. And this woman turns around. I'm like, he's a big football fan. He loves football.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Touchdown. I mean, this is my Rain Man over here. My flying companion. Touchdown. Definitely touchdown. The flight's going to make it.
It's
I
just
like,
like
weird.
wow.
It
Do you know
is
what? You
weird.
know what I do when there's a lot of like if I'm up there and there's some crazy turbulence, I close my eyes and I picture these two
That scene from
very
Fight
lar-
Club.
these
Great
two
scene. Yeah.
very large hands coming out underneath the plane,
Mm.
and then I picture this blue aura coming around the plane,
Wow.
and I picture all the turbulence bouncing off the front of
I
the aura.
love that. So do
That's
you feel
cool.
protected?
Yeah,
Once
and
you...
it really, for some reason, I mean, call it what you want. Maybe it's God. I don't know, but it's
Sure.
like this all-powering being that puts his hands under the plane and
I like
puts his
that.
aura around the plane and allows the. And it's weird, like if you really like want. I mean, I don't know, say anything, but like when I do that, when I really focus, because it takes a minute. Like your brain's so distracted, right?
Yeah.
To see the hands come out, to see the blue aura go
Mm.
around the plane, and then to see the actual vibrations bounce off the front of the aura and to hold that. And it's amazing. Like all of a sudden the
Mm.
turbulence will even out. And
It's awesome.
and
I'm
then I
gonna
come
try
back
that.
and I'm like, wow, okay, there's something.
I love that visualization. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I'm
It
going to
really,
try that.
It really helps me because
Yeah.
I'm not quite like that, but I've been on some of those, over the Atlantic or flying to like Australia,
Mhm.
I'm over the Pacific, and you're up at 40,000 feet, and it gets
Yeah.
dicey.
Yep.
I don't like that.
I don't
I
like
don't
that
I'm not a
either.
fan of that
I'm
at
not a
all.
fan.
either.
No.
Not a fan. But you know what? You can't let it get in the way of life.
No,
right?
you
If you want to
cannot.
go to
No.
certain places and
Exactly.
experience certain things,
Exactly.
you
right.
got to fly.
You got to fly.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I fly.
Yeah.
And and
Yeah.
I go kicking and screaming sometimes, but I do it. I'm
Yeah.
not going to deprive myself and my
Right.
family,
Just fly,
of-
just
of-
not on
of
Boeing.
these adventures.
Anytime soon. No, I'm kidding. No,
Well, don't get me started with
I-
that.
See,
I don't want to
best
get
friends,
started.
all
with-
I gotta do is
Dude,
just throw 'em a
no,
little
I'll
softball
tell you a
there.
quick story there because we were leaving from Nashville back to LA, and I found out that I was supposed to fly on a Max,
Yeah.
and I literally told Lisa, my wife, I said, "I'm not going. I'm not flying on a Max," and she's like, "Shut up! You're getting on the plane." And I literally went to the front the front area of the
Oh,
airline.
gosh.
And I said, I don't want to fly on this plane. Is there any way you can get me on another flight, another plane? And they couldn't. And I had to,
Wow.
I had to go.
You did it?
I did it. So but it was funny because on my way to the gate, I saw a pilot,
Hmm.
and I literally went up to him. I said, just humor me for a second. What do you think of the Max? Am I okay flying on the Max? And he said, it's a great plane. It was a training thing. They didn't train the pilots well enough. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. And I felt a little calmer after
Yeah.
that. And I went on, and obviously I'm here.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, I again, my friends, because I got a buddy, Scott Schulman, who has a son playing baseball at Harvard, and I love this guy. This guy goes every weekend and flies to watch his son play, and it's like nothing for him.
Yeah.
Like flight after, and we went to New York to watch with him to watch his son play at Columbia, and it was, he knew I was afraid to fly, but
Yeah.
he's like, dude, you're okay, man. You're
Yeah.
okay. And
Wow.
so these people, there's thousands of planes in the air, thousands of
there
planes
are.
in the air every day at the same time, and
Yeah, no.
everything usually is okay. So I'm
You-
gonna
you-
get
you
over
hear
that. I
about
got to
the
get
3
over
or
that.
4, but there are thousands.
Right?
that-
Yeah.
great.
So it's all good,
Yeah,
man.
of course.
And I want to fly to locations, right,
I
and
know.
watch the movies that you guys do, and we
Have
write,
to.
and
Have
all that
to.
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
So
You got to
you got to go. You got to go.
Gotta go.
Traveling
So-
is the best.
Yeah.
It's the
it's
best.
fun.
Yeah, I know.
It is.
I know. It's all good. It's all good. And
It is. It is. It
Yeah.
is.
yeah. So it's been it's cool. Everyone has their quirks, man. I got my quirks. You guys
Oh,
got
I
your
got
quirks,
mine. Please.
right? I mean,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
but
I'm
that's
quirky
what
as-
makes us human. That's
Yeah.
what makes us human.
We're all gonna have quirks. At the end of the day, you just got to find people and that love you for the quirks.
Yes,
That's it.
acceptance, right?
true.
Love
But
and acceptance.
Honestly,
It's
like
true.
I, if in it happens with friends and family and people that you're, spouses, it's like they have to love you. If they love you, then they love the quirks.
yes,
It isn't about loving you and not liking those things. If they love you, they have to love those things.
the picadillos, like
that's how it
like
works.
Robin Williams said in Good Will
Mm.
Hunting,
Yeah.
right? Why he loved his wife farted while she slept,
Yeah.
But it's those little picadillos,
That's-
the little quirks that you do have to love.
You have to.
Absolutely.
And what makes them tick is you have to love that. You know? Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
We all got quirks, man. I got tons. So
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
That's what makes you human.
that's it.
That's what makes
it.
us all human,
And
right?
the journey is and look, the journey is every day. That's the journey. We're always so
Yeah.
obsessed with what's next or what happened before. The journey is this part right here.
I'm still learning,
This is-
man.
oh, dude.
I'm still learning.
every day,
I'm
man.
always learning, man.
I think that's what this
Yeah.
part of wherever we came from, wherever we're going. I hope who knows, right? Maybe it's pearly gates. Maybe we get to see everybody
Yes.
again. I don't know,
Uh,
but I'll tell you what. Right now, I'm grateful to wake up every day. I'm
Yes.
grateful for this moment right here.
Speaking of learning, it's a little bit of a segue here, but speaking of learning, something came across that just absolutely fascinated me the other day, and that is this story, and this is a true story. This young girl,
Yeah.
it's a tragic story.
Okay.
Unfortunately, was murdered.
Okay.
They could not find her killer. However, she was an organ donor,
You've lost
oh my
Andy.
god.
and they took the heart
Oh
and they
my
gave it
God.
to another teenage girl.
Oh my
okay.
god.
The heart took, and the teenage girl got better. But one downside was she was having these nightmares, and they were really realistic. And she kept hearing a phrase being repeated in her head in these nightmares and seeing a face.
Mhm.
She finally went to the doctor was like, you know what? Let's just get this out. Why don't we have one of these people who can draw up the face,
Yeah.
and we'll take notes on all this. They drew up the face, and
Don't
it
tell
turned
me.
out
Don't tell me.
it was incredibly similar to one of the suspects of the girl
Come
who was
on.
murdered.
Oh
Come
my
on.
God.
That's amazing.
No, wait.
Wait, for real?
It's giving me goosebumps. This is real.
This is crazy.
Upon questioning the guy, when they told him the phrase, he broke down and confessed.
No.
Oh my
And he's now in
God.
jail for the murder of the girl who donated the heart.
Oh my gosh. That's
Brother.
doesn't that I mean I got goosebumps.
Dude, I got
Me
goosebumps
too.
too, bro.
So what basically
There's
they're
something else
saying,
out there, man.
what they're
Yes.
saying is
Oh,
that
there definitely is.
Oh my God.
That what you think that the brain is the only thing that records the
No.
memories, it's your whole spiritual being
Yes.
Absolutely.
that can actually
Absolutely,
record
it does.
these memories in your body. And
Oh
in
my
fact,
God.
the heart had harnessed this memory and was professing this to the girl who now had it.
Oh my God.
I had a real experience. I had never witnessed a miracle before until the beginning of this year.
Hmm.
I went to this thing called 21 Days of Prayer, where every morning at 7 a.m. you go with a select group of people and you pretty much pray over each other.
Mhm.
And I was going there because I just wanted to redirect my life. It wasn't like I had some sort of,
Sure.
but there were people there with very serious ailments. And there was this one lady who was stage 4 lung cancer.
Oy.
And I'll never forget, when I got there, I actually felt guilty. I was like, why am I
Yeah,
here?
what is your problem?
Why
yeah,
am I
yeah.
here? Look at this lady. And I took very specific notice of this lady. And long story short, on the 21st day, I made it through. I was really kind of proud of myself. I made it through every morning, going and
Sure.
doing this and praying over people and trying to be a better person. And she stands up and she says, because at the end of 21 days, everyone has stood up who had been there and had to give their testimony and their story. And of course, mine wasn't all that special, other than I understood I was starting to understand the power of prayer, and I had really appreciated the people and the community that allowed me to be there. And this lady stands up and she says, at the beginning of this, I had given up. I had stopped all my cancer treatment. I had told all the doctors that I'm not doing this anymore. I am cancer free.
Oh my God.
I witnessed a miracle
Yeah.
happen in front of me.
Wow.
And in witnessing that was the real shift for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once you see something like this, miracles can happen.
They can.
Yes.
On that, for some reason, that 20 days, she believed that I'm going to do away with what had been going on, and I'm going to believe that I can be healed with prayer and with this group of people, and it worked.
But what was that breakthrough for her?
I don't know.
How did that?
All I know is I got up, and I'm a very shy person. I was always in the back room. When she said it, I got up, and I literally just had to go physically put my hands on her. Because from the first
I mean,
day,
I'm just so affected by it. That's amazing.
oh,
That's
it's,
amazing.
it was it,
I
it
want
changed my
amazing
life.
I just that gives me hope a little bit of like, okay, there is a higher power out
There
there.
is, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
There is.
It changed my
Yeah.
whole
There is.
my
Look,
whole scope on
look,
things. I
gotta-
never witnessed a miracle, and that was a miracle.
That's pretty
Got to
cool,
bring
man.
people
Yeah.
together. Got to put people in your lives
Yeah.
that need to be in your life. You're going to learn something from them. There's always a reason for everything. There's a reason for everything. And you have to just accept that and know that to be true. And it is every day you wake up and you put yourself back into that place.
Yeah.
Every day you wake up, you go, thank you. I'm so grateful that I get to wake up and live today.
Yep.
And then you make the best of that day. And you're constantly popping yourself back into that place.
Yep.
For me, anyway, there is no, I don't wake up and then, oh, I've done this and now I never have to worry about that again. I'm doing it every
No,
hour. I'm
and
doing
you-
it 5 hours a day.
And when something, even if it's a small little thing that's a positive thing, you really do have to acknowledge it.
You
right?
acknowledge
Absolutely.
it. You
Like
acknowledge it.
I just, it's a small thing, but I want a position to be a teacher's associate for next fall. And I worked my ass off trying to prepare a lesson, and it worked.
Awesome.
And usually I'm not that guy that celebrates all my successes, and that's a
Right.
big problem because I've had a lot of successes,
Dave.
and I never really took the time to
Me either.
acknowledge.
Me either.
I just grinded and like,
Right.
what's next?
More, what's
Yeah,
next?
what's next?
Right.
But and another little thing is like I finally got a chance to become a member it's stupid. It's at the Soho House in Malibu. It's so dumb. But all of those years that I've had success as a screenwriter and in this crazy, stupid business,
Yeah.
with all of the failures and all of the rejection, I got a chance I got picked to be a member.
Yeah.
And I had to take a step back. I'm like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
this is really an accomplishment of a body of work.
Yeah.
that
You know
I've
what?
done.
You know what that's called? It's what I was saying. It's called gratefulness.
Gratefulness.
That's it.
Yes, gratitude, right?
Gratitude.
It's
Yeah.
gratitude and gratefulness. If you're grateful, if you realize and you start looking at the things that you're grateful for, man, those things that upset you, those small things, you literally don't focus on that negative stuff. You
Yeah,
don't.
dude.
Because even in the heart, in the throes of things, if you can look at this, say, but you know what? I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for my brothers. I'm so grateful for I'm so grateful for these things, even though, man, I thought things would be different and I'd be doing other things. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I get to live this life.
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I always think of this too. Like, okay, so say there weren't the storms and there was this big pot of coin and cash, that we were all sitting on and well, then what?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's right.
What's your
Right.
sense of purpose?
We have a big house.
Right.
And we're sitting.
What's the purpose?
And then what?
Yes.
Pretty good.
And that's why you see all these people that have all these things and they're miserable.
You know what I see?
Because they're living in the then what?
I know I
see a
wouldn't be
sunset.
though. Give that to me. I would not.
I mean,
I would
yeah,
not
yeah.
be miserable
I see a sunset
because we have a
and
sense
us
of purpose, right?
sailing off into
We'd
it,
still be performing
That's
and
true.
creating.
Yeah.
We'd
That's
still
true.
be telling
or
stories.
sailing off into a sunset. But either way,
We would have some of that for sure. But you're right, though. You do need a sense of purpose.
have
you
to,
do.
have to.
There's no reason to. Again, my buddy Scott. He retired CFO right at a pretty young age. He has all the money in the world that he needs. But does he sit on his ass every day and do nothing? No. It's not in his DNA, right? He grinds. He's at the gym every day. He's still investing. It's like, I think for us, please give us that. Test us.
Yes.
Test us with the fortune
Yes.
and the success, because I do believe that we would all
You
do
can-
well by it.
You can talk about those things that you long for, and you can ask for those things specifically. Absolutely,
You
and
can.
You can.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
I do.
Absolutely do. Prayer is very powerful, and spirituality is very powerful. Whatever version of it works for everybody
Sure.
out there.
Yep.
But I know what works for me, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yep.
And I'm very grateful for you being my best bud all these
so
years.
great to have
I'm very grateful for my
You
brothers.
guys in my life.
You guys being my best pals.
Love you,
guys.
Maddie. Love you,
And
Andy.
this has been
Love
one
you,
hell of
dude.
an episode.
Love
I'll
you.
tell you that. I'm so thankful, dude. We're gonna
I
go
love
out.
it.
We're gonna do Wolverine and
Oh, I can't
Deadpool over
wait.
the summer.
Yeah.
Let's do something
But we're
before
Just
gonna
to
that,
hang
though.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
just to hang
let's
out,
hang.
man.
Yeah,
I
let's
just
do
I
it.
miss those days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me
man.
too.
Me too.
Yeah,
Very
it's
much.
great.
Time we get back to it on a regular
Yes,
basis.
for sure.
All right.
Love you,
Sure.
Wags.
Love you, Wags.
Thank
Love
you
you
so
all.
much for having me on the
Yo,
pod, man. The
love
very
you all.
big
Thank you so
pod.
much for
Awesome.
being here
Yeah,
today.
we really
God bless you
appreciate
guys.
it.
Have a
Thank you, thank you.
great weekend. Be grateful if you can. All right, it's a good feeling. It's that recalibration. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
God bless.
Bye.
y'all. Hey, what's up, everybody? The
Lawrence brothers are here.
Thank you so much for enjoying this week's episode of the Brotherly Love Pod.
And if you want more of this show, check out our premium feed on Supercast.
That's right, where you'll see ad-free episodes, monthly AMAs, behind-the-scene content, and so much more.
That's brotherlylove.supercast.com to join.
Check out our link tree and subscribe on all platforms.
We'll see you all
Next week!